Right now, millions of people are running from the one thing that could make them stronger than they ever imagined. They fill every quiet moment with noise, every empty space with distraction, every second of solitude with desperate attempts to connect with others. But what if I told you that loneliness, that feeling you've been taught to fear, is actually your greatest untapped source of power? The ancient Stoics knew something we've forgotten. Solitude isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's not isolation, it's incubation. And the strongest people in history weren't those who were never alone. They were those who learned to be complete within themselves. The first teaching comes from Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, who wrote his most profound thoughts not in grand speeches to crowds, but in the solitude of his tent during military campaigns. His meditations weren't meant for publication. They were private conversations with himself, moments of solitude that produced wisdom that still guides us 2,000 years later. Marcus taught us that solitude is where we meet our true selves. In his own words, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. But he didn't learn this in the company of others. He learned it in quiet moments of self-reflection, away from the noise of court politics and the demands of empire. In our modern world, we see this same principle at work. As humanity faces unprecedented challenges in 2026, with systems failing and the need for adaptation constant, those who thrive are often those who've learned to find strength in quiet moments of reflection, building inner resilience when the external world feels unstable.
Apply this today. Schedule 15 minutes of complete solitude daily. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just you and your thoughts.
This isn't meditation, it's conversation with your deepest.
Use this time to process your day,
Examine your reactions, and clarify your values.
the person who emerges from regular solitude
Is not the same person who entered it. The second teaching comes from Epictetus, who understood solitude not by choice, but by circumstance. As a slave, he was often physically isolated, but he discovered that true freedom exists in the mind. He taught that we cannot control external events, but we have absolute sovereignty over our internal responses.
Epictetus showed us that solitude reveals what we can and cannot control.
When you're alone with just your thoughts, you quickly discover which worries are about things within your power and which are about things beyond it. This clarity is impossible to achieve in the constant noise of social interaction. In practice, when loneliness strikes, instead of immediately reaching for your phone or seeking company, ask yourself, what is this feeling teaching me about what I think I need from others? Often, loneliness reveals our dependencies that make us weak. Use solitude to identify these dependencies and build independence. The third teaching addresses the fear of being alone. Seneca, who had wealth and social connections, voluntarily practiced poverty and solitude to build resilience. He would spend days eating simple food, wearing rough clothes, and avoiding social gatherings. Why? Because he knew that if you fear losing something, you become its slave. Seneca taught that solitude builds anti-fragility. When you're comfortable being alone, you can engage with others from strength, not neediness. You can speak truth without fear of social rejection. You can make decisions based on principles, not people-pleasing. Modern application. Practice voluntary solitude regularly. Go to dinner alone. Take walks without company. Travel solo if possible. That you normally do with others. You build evidence that you are complete within yourself. This isn't antisocial. It's becoming so secure in your own company that you can offer your best self to others. The fourth teaching reveals solitude as the workshop of wisdom. The Stoics believed that wisdom comes through reflection, and reflection requires quiet. In solitude, you can examine your assumptions, question your beliefs, and develop the kind of clear thinking that's impossible in reactive social situations. Marcus Aurelius developed his philosophy of accepting change and impermanence during long, solitary hours of contemplation. He didn't learn to accept loss by talking about it with others. He learned it by sitting alone with the reality of impermanence until he could find peace with it. Practical wisdom. Use lonely moments for philosophical reflection. Ask yourself hard questions. What am I afraid of losing? What assumptions am I making about how life should be? What would I do if I weren't trying to impress anyone? Solitude strips away the performance and reveals truth. The fifth and most powerful teaching is that solitude builds unshakable inner strength. When you're comfortable in your own company, you become immune to social manipulation, peer pressure, and the desperate need for external validation that weakens so many people. The Stoics called this autarky, self-sufficiency, not the arrogant belief that you don't need anyone, but the quiet confidence that you don't need anyone's approval to know your worth. This strength, forged in solitude, makes you more valuable to others, not less. We see this strength emerging in people worldwide who are learning to adapt and remain resilient despite uncertain circumstances, finding inner resources they never knew they possessed when external support systems prove unreliable. Implement this the next time you feel lonely. Instead of trying to escape the feeling, lean into it. Ask, what is this loneliness really about? Often, it's not about being alone. It's about being uncomfortable with who you are when no one else is watching. Use this discomfort as a signal to build a stronger relationship with yourself. Solitude isn't the absence of connection, it's the presence of self-possession. The person who has learned to be alone has learned to be free. They engage with the world from choice, not compulsion. They love from abundance, not scarcity. They speak from conviction, not conformity. Every moment you spend in comfortable solitude makes you stronger. Every minute you can sit peacefully with just your thoughts builds resilience. Every hour you spend as your own companion develops the kind of inner strength that no external circumstance can touch. Stop running from loneliness. Start using it. Your solitude is not empty space waiting to be filled. It's fertile ground where your strongest self grows. If this moved you, comment "The Citadel holds" below. It is our sign that you carry the philosophy with you. Subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.